Good morning to one and all for the today's morning session in metal cutting and forming. I'm Professor Raju Patil, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Angli Institute of Technology and Management, Belgavi. So today I will be discussing on module 3, that is introduction to toolware. Okay, in that as of we have stopped till here in the last class. Taylor's tool life equation today we'll be discussing. So tool life can be defined as the period of time up to which the cutting tool performs efficiently. To ensure that the tool is replaced after its full life, certain tool life criteria have been specified. Based on this, the tool life can be defined as the cutting time required to reach a tool life criterion as specified by the ISO standard. Okay, the significant factor which affects tool life when work material, tool material and tool shape are chosen for a particular operation is the cutting speed. Okay, so the relationship between the cutting speed and the tool life is given by the Taylor's equation. It is expressed as Vt raised to n is equal to C, where V is the cutting speed in meter per minute and T is the tool life in minute, and n is the exponent, a coefficient of slope of the tool life curve on log sheet, that is equal to 0.1 for HSS tool and 0.4 to 0.55 for ceramic tools. Okay, and C is a constant that represents the cutting speed to give a tool life of 1 minute. Okay, tool life of 1 minute. The exponent n depend mainly on the tool material, but it is also influenced by the work material, cutting conditions and the environment. The constant C depends on the various factors such as tool, work material, tool geometry, depth of cut, and that is last is feed rate. Okay, next we'll be discussing about factors affecting tool life. Factors affecting tool life, first one is cutting speed. So what is cutting speed? The tool life is largely affected by the cutting speed. The tool life is largely affected by the cutting speed. This is mainly because higher cutting speed generates higher temperatures at tool material interface, thus reducing the tool hardness and hence bringing down its life. As per the Taylor's tool life equation, the tool life is directly related to the cutting speed, like Vt raised to n is equal to C, as of we have discussed in the previous slide. A typical variation of tool life with cutting speed for HSS, cast alloy, tungsten, carbide and ceramic tools as shown in figure. Okay, in this other cutting conditions for all tools are kept constant. For example, in this plot, at a cutting speed of about 250 meter per minute, the tungsten carbide tool would have a tool life of about 20 minutes. For the same tool life for HSS tool, the cutting speed is of the order of about 45 meter per minute. Okay, next one, feed and depth of cut. The feed and depth of cut is also which will affect to the tool life to a greater extent. With fine feed and greater depth of cut, the tool wear increases. Hence, for maximum tool life, optimum feed rate and depth of cut is desirable. The tool life can be related to the feed rate, this is a feed rate, depth of cut and cutting speed by the expression. You all can see in the sketch it is shown cutting speed versus tool life. So you all can see the high speed steel, that is N is equal to 0.125, for cast alloy that is N is equal to 0.16, and tungsten carbide N is equal to 0.25, and for ceramics it is N is equal to 0.50 to 0.70 range. Okay, so here V is equal to 257 divided by T raised to 0.19 into S raised to 0.36 into T raised to 0.08 meter per minute, where V is the cutting speed in meter per minute, T is the tool life in minute, and S is the feed rate in mm per minute. Next we'll be discussing about tool geometry. A tool with larger rake angle becomes weak as large rake angle reduces the cross section and hence increases the heat developed. This results in faster rate of tool wear. Tool life is maximum at optimum tool angles depending upon the metal to be cut, and is about -5 to +10 degrees for carbide tools. The clearance angle reduces the tool wear, but higher the clearance, lower the strength, hence faster wear. An optimum clearance angle is 10 to 15 degrees. For a higher tool life, it is estimated the side cutting edge angle and end cutting edge angle are 28 to 30 degrees and 4 to 10 degrees respectively. Okay, next comes tool material. Okay, the tool material which can retain a sharp cutting edge at higher temperature will have a higher life. This depends upon the chemical composition and structure of the tool material. For example, more abrasive and harder materials such as ceramics and carbides, okay, have a longer tool life than HSS tools. Thus, harder the material, higher is the tool life. Next comes cutting fluid. The use of proper cutting fluid greatly increases the tool life. Did you all understood? Why? What is the importance of cutting fluid here? The use of proper cutting fluid or continuous of cutting fluid, the use of continuous cutting fluid will be increasing the tool life. Okay, a cutting fluid carries away the heat generated at the tool chip interface. The fine abrasive particles formed and reduces the coefficient of friction. Okay, these factors naturally help in longer tool lives. Okay, next we'll be discussing about the problems. First one, that is in a rough cutting operation in a lathe with a cutting speed of meter per minute, the tool had a life of 3 hours between regrinds. Estimate the life of this tool. Similar cuts at a speed of 24 meter per minute. Take the value of n is equal to 1 by 8. Solution. So first of all, what is given in the problem? V is 18 meter per minute. V1 is 24 meter per minute. T is equal to 3H, that is equal to 180 minute. T is question mark, whatever we have to find. Estimate the life of the tool, means T, and small n is 1 by 8. First let us find the value of constant C in the Taylor's equation. Using the given values, we have the formula. We know that Vt raised to n is equal to C, that is equal to V1 T1 raised to n. So that is equal to 18 into 180 raised to 1 by 8 that is equal to C. So we'll get C value, that is 34.3. Now using V1 T1 raised to N is equal to C, substitute the values. 24 into T raised to 1 by 3 that is equal to 34.3. So T raised to 1 by 3 that is equal to 34.3 divided by 24 that is equal to 1.43. So T is equal to 1.43 raised to what? Raised to 8. That will be getting 17.4 minute. Next problem. A cutting tool under roughing condition in a machining a mild steel part had a life of 1 hour at 24 meter per minute. Estimate the tool life on the same material for light finishing cuts at the same speed. Take N is equal to 1 by 8 for roughing and 1 by 10 for finishing operations. Remember, N is equal to 1 by 8 for roughing and 1 by 10 for finishing operation. Don't confuse yourselves. Given data, V is equal to 24 meter per minute and T suffix R is equal to 1 hour, that is 180 minutes. So N1 is equal to 1 by 8 and N2 is equal to 1 by 10. So we are taking as for rough operation N1 and for finish operation we are assuming as N2. So N1 is equal to 1 by 8 and N2 is equal to 1 by 10. So you are going to find here T suffix F. Okay. We know that Vt raised to N is equal to C. For roughing conditions, 24 into 60 raised to 1 by 8 that is equal to C. So you will get C value, that is 40.04. Now for finishing conditions, this was for roughing conditions, C is equal to 40.045. Okay. So for now we are solving for finishing conditions. 24 into T raised to 1 by 10 that is equal to 40.04. T raised to 1 by 10 that is equal to 40.04 divided by 24, that you will get 1.668. So T is equal to 1.668 raised to this 10. Okay, that you will get tool life, that is T is equal to 166.7 minutes, or you can take round figure, that is 167. Next, problem. For this also the same things you are going to find here. Okay. Okay. So here find the values constant C and N in Taylor's tool life equation. This you are going to find here. Okay. So what is given in the problem? V1 is equal to 30 meter per minute, V2 is equal to 25 meter per minute. So for the same material, it is shown in the question, you all can see 25 meter per minute, the tool life was 5.2 hours, and for velocity V1 that is 30 minutes meter per minute, for that T1 is equal to 2.1 hours. So you are going to find small n and constant C. Okay. So using Taylor's tool life equation, we know that V1 T1 raised to n is equal to V2 T2 raised to n is equal to constant C. Okay, so V1 T1 is equal to T2 by T1 raised to n. So substitute the values. 30 by 25 is equal to 5.2 raised divided by 2.1 raised to n. So 30 by 25 you will get 1.2, that is equal to 5.2 divided by 2.1, that you will get 2.48 raised to n. So log of 1.2 is equal to n, whatever the n is, you take it here, n log 2.48. So you'll be getting log 1.2 0.079 and log 2.4's value you will get 0.393 into n. So therefore n is equal to 0.201 you'll get. Substitute the value n in the two life equation, we get, or we have, we can say, C is equal to V1 T1 raised to n. Therefore C is equal to 30 into 2.1 into 60 raised to 0.201. This value you are going to substitute in the place of n. Okay, so you'll get C is equal to 79.4. Next example. A steel bar of 50 mm diameter and two life was found to be 10 minutes. At 230 rpm, the two life was increased to 50 minutes. Based on Taylor's two life equation, estimate the cutting speed to obtain a two life of 35 minutes. So, solution, given data. Okay. What is given? D diameter, D is equal to 50 mm, N1 is equal to 280 rpm and N2 is equal to 230 rpm and V3 you are going to find here. Okay, and T1 is equal to 10 minutes, T2 is equal to 50 minutes and T3 is equal to 35 minutes. Let us first find the cutting speed V1 and V2. Okay. So as of we know, V1 is equal to pi d n1 by 6000. So substitute the values, pi into 50 into 280 divided by 6000. That you will get 0.733 meter per second. You will get this value. Okay. So next V2. V2 is equal to pi d n2 divided by 6000. So that is equal to pi into 50 into 230 divided by 6000. You will be getting this value, 0.602 meter per second. Okay. We know that V1 T1 raised to n is equal to V2 T2 raised to n, that is equal to V3 T3 raised to n, that is equal to constant. Okay. Therefore, V1 by V2 is equal to T2 by T1 raised to n. So 0.733 divided by 0.602 divided is equal to 50 by 10 raised to n. Okay. So that you will get 1.22 is equal to 5 raised to n. Log 1.22, that is equal to n log, this n will come here, n log 5. Okay. So therefore n is equal to 0.124. Using C is equal to, using the formula C is equal to V1 T1 raised to n, you will get C is equal to 0.733 into 10 into 60 raised to this 0.124. Therefore C is equal to 1.62. Now to find the cutting speed for 35 minutes tool life, C is equal to V3 T3 raised to n. So C value anyhow we have found out here. Substitute that value is 1.62. that is equal to V3 into 35 into 60 raised to 0.124. So you will get V3 is equal to 0.48 meter per second. Next we will be discussing about tool failure. So what is tool failure? Tool failure is a phenomena which makes the tool unusable for further metal cutting. Okay, tool failure is a phenomena which makes the tool unusable for further metal cutting. For smooth metal cutting with minimum energy consumption, it is essential to have a sharp cutting edge in the tool. Whenever the sharpness of the tool is lost, it is said to have failed. What is the point? Whenever the sharpness of the tool is lost, it is said to have failed. The use of failed tool is in machining leads to a higher energy consumption and yields a rough surface finish. So this type of component surface finish will not be accepted by the customers. So we need to take care of this or take into account. A tool which loses its life with usage can also be considered as tool failure. There are three modes of tool failures we have shown here: plastic deformation, mechanical breakage and tool wear. The plastic deformation itself indicates here in a dotted line. You all can see the dotted line, that is plastic deformation, and mechanical breakage itself, it shows the dotted line here, and tool wear shows the dotted line here. Okay, so plastic deformation, that this type of failure occurs when the cutting edge deforms under heat, when the cutting stress is very high. The reasons for this failure are high cutting speeds, cutting without proper coolant, and selection of less harder tool for a very hard material. Okay, and how does mechanical breakage cause? This type of failure occurs with less stronger tool material, low section thickness and high cutting stresses. This may also occur due to some internal defect in the tool and with low toughness and high brittleness. Okay. Next comes wear with usage. This type of failure normally occurs with continuous usage of tool and when it loses its life. This is the normal type of failure expected in a metal cutting operation. In this case, the wear being uniform, the tool can be sharpened by regrinding and with the removal of very small quantity of tool material. Did you all got what I am telling here? The tool can be sharpened to remove some amount of wear of the tool. You all can use the tool can be sharpened with the help of the grinding machine by removal of very small amount of tool material. Okay. Next, coming to cutting fluids. Cutting fluids, or you all can say coolants. So cutting fluids and coolants are the lubricants used in metal cutting and grinding operations. A cutting fluid primarily acts as a coolant to carry out heat generated, and secondly as a lubricant to reduce friction at the tool chip interface and work flank regions. The use of cutting fluid makes the cutting operation more efficient by way of reducing tool wear, increasing the tool life, improving surface finish, reducing friction and reducing the power required. In most machining operations, the cutting fluid is recirculated. Hence, the cost involved is almost negligible as compared to the benefits gained. Next, coming to functions of cutting fluid. Okay, functions of cutting fluids. To carry away, first one, to carry away the heat generated due to high friction at the work tool interface, a large amount of heat is generated and both work and tool get heated. What happens? Large amount of heat is generated and both work and workpiece and tool gets heated. So here high temperatures reduces the cutting efficiency and heat has to be removed from the work tool surfaces to improve the cutting efficiency. To achieve this, cutting fluid is used and it has to carry away the maximum amount of heat from the workpiece as well as the tool surfaces. Did you all got? Other benefits of removal of heat from the work tool interface include retaining the hardness of the tool and thus improving the tool life and high speed operations. This also helps in reducing the thermal distortions and maintain higher dimensional control on the finished surfaces. Second one, to provide proper lubrication. Lubrication is a means to reduce the friction that results in lesser amount of heat generation and power consumption in the metal cutting operation. Higher friction also causes vibration and chatter the problems. Okay, a cutting fluid used should provide an efficient lubrication to help in lesser power consumption, fine surface finish and smooth cutting operations are required. Okay, a cutting fluid as a lubricant can easily change the geometry of chip formation. Okay, process and produce less deformed, cooler, thinner and easy to break the chips. This condition helps in reducing the possibility of formation of built-up edge, as of we have discussed in the first class of the metal cutting, built-up edge. You might be remembering that how the built-up edge is caused on the tool, hence improve the surface finish. Built-up edge is formed in between the tool face and the workpiece. In between the both, when they rub each other, or the built-up edge causes. Okay. Third one, to carry away the chips. Chips produced during cutting operations should be carried away from the work tool interface to avoid damages to the finished surface. A cutting fluid is required to carry away the chips from cutting area and help improve the surface finish. Fourth one, that is to cool and break the chips. Depending upon the cutting conditions, the chips produced may be long and very hot. This is commonly happens while the machining ductile materials. When it occurs when we machine ductile materials, especially when the depth of cut and cutting speeds are very high. The hot and longer chips are dangerous as they may burn or hurt the operator. Hurt the operator in the sense the chips formed which may come upon the face of the operator also. So we have to take precautions of that also. A cutting fluid should be able to cool the chip and assist in breaking it by quenching effect. Quenching effect is nothing but whatever we provide the lubrication, it quenches. And last one, that is to protect the finished surface. The cutting fluid used should provide an oily surface on the finished machine workpiece to protect it from corrosion and dust, thus protecting it. Okay. Next comes the property of cutting fluids. It should carry away heat immediately from the workpiece, tool and the chip surfaces. It should provide good lubrication to reduce coefficient of friction. It should have high flash and fire points. It should have chemically neutral. It should be odorless under normal and high temperature condition. It should be non-corrosive. It should be non-toxic. It should have low viscosity. It should not get oxidized. It should not be very thick and opaque. Okay. Next comes types of cutting fluids. These are very important types of cutting fluids. Considered properly. So types of cutting fluids. Different kinds of cutting fluids are used depending upon the requirements. Cutting fluids can be classified under groups as follows. First one, that is water. Second one, oils. Okay. Third one, chemical compounds. Fourth one is solid lubricants. The formation and characteristics of these fluids are discussed briefly. Okay. First one, water. Plain water or water with an alkali, salt or water soluble additive with little or no oil can be used as a coolants. Plain water is generally not used because of its tendency to corrode the metals. Got the point? Plain water is not used. Why? Because it corrodes the metals. So we use the water, plain water, not only plain water with the mixture of water with alkali, salt or water soluble additives. These are used as a coolants, not only plain water. Okay, remember that. Oils. Second one, oils. Oils are the generally used cutting fluids since they satisfy almost all requirements. Either plain oils or oils in various mixed forms are used. The different oil forms used as a cutting fluids are straight or neat or plain oils. Straight or plain mineral oils like kerosene, low viscosity petroleum products or animal vegetable oils perform best as cutting fluids. They possess very good lubricating and heat absorbing characteristics. In addition, they protect the finished surface because of their oily nature. These are generally used in light cutting operations. Second one under that, water miscible or soluble oils. These are emulsions formed by mixing about 80% of water rest with soap and mineral oils. The soap acts as an emulsifying agent, thus breaking the oil into minute particles and disperses them throughout the water. This gives best possible results since water gives the best cooling effect, while oil provides lubricating and non-corrosive properties. Thus these are suitable for heavy cutting operations. Okay. Next comes the mixed oils. These are combination of plain mineral and fatty oils. These oils have very good lubricating and cooling characteristics. These are used in automats for high precision and superior surface finish. Next comes synthetic or chemical mixed oils. Oils mixed with chemical additives like sulfur or chlorine have an increased lubricating and cooling qualities. These are used for machining tough and very ductile materials. Next comes third one, that is chemical compounds. These are mixture of chemical rust inhibitors like sodium nitrate and high percentage of water. These are suitable for grinding operations and machining of ferrous materials that are most prone to rusting. These chemical compounds, these oils are used where it is kept in a small tin near the grinding machine. Grinding machine, you might be knowing, at both the ends there will be wheels. So while grinding or sharpening the tools near the grinding machine, we keep in industries, you might have seen these are kept at beside the grinding machines. Whenever we sharpen the tool, that time the tool as well as the grinder, it becomes heat is created. So to avoid that heat, we use this chemical compound oil. Got? Solid lubricants. In metal cutting, solid lubricants are not commonly used because of their non-sticking and non-flowing characteristics. Sometimes waxes and soaps are used as a lubricating machine. Next comes machinability. This is the last slide. In a metal cutting, it is very important to understand the work material before attempting to start the cutting operation. Basically, type of work decides the tool material to be used and other cutting conditions necessary for machining. The most important property of work material is machinability. Machinability of a work material can be defined as the relative ease with which a metal can be machined using a metal cutting tool to an acceptable surface finish. Generally, machinability of metal is judged based on these three parameters. First one is surface finish, second one is tool life, and third one is cutting force and power required. Thus, a higher machinability means a good surface finish, lesser tool wear, hence longer tool life, and low force and power requirement in metal cuttings. Low force and low power requirements in metal cutting. So what is surface finish? Generally, surface finish of any product depends upon the following factors, that is cutting speed, feed, depth of cut. Okay. Surface finish depends upon only three factors. Those are very important factors: cutting speed, feed, and depth of cut. So cutting speed, better surface finish can be obtained at higher cutting speeds. Rough cutting takes place at lower cutting speeds. Feed surface finish will not be good when coarse feed is applied, but better finish can be obtained in fine feeds. Depth of cut. Lighter cuts provides good surface finish to the workpiece. If the depth of cut increases during machining, the quality of surface finish will be reducing. If we use the tool in a rapid way, what happens? It may collapse the workpiece also. In that way, it reduces the quality of the workpiece also, and in the same way we can say surface finish obtained is very poor. Therefore, higher cutting speeds, fine feeds, and low depth of cuts are applied to ensure good surface finish. Usually it is done in finishing cuts, but lower cutting speeds, coarse feeds, and heavier depth of cuts are applied in rough cutting operations. So with this we end of today's session. Thank you for the today's session, and you can comment with your USNs, as well as if any queries you can call me freely. Okay, thank you.